Madam Chair, the counsels of Vice President Sara Duterte, Fortune Narvasa Salazar, and Attorney Michael Wesley Poa submitted a letter explaining the Vice President's absence today and their absence as well as counsels for the Vice President. And I will read the main basis for their objection to attending today. Under these circumstances and considering the public statements made by the chairperson, it appears that the committee intends to conduct a trial. I think, Madam Chair, the House Committee on Justice should confront this accusation squarely today. This particular position of the counsels and of the Vice President herself is basically a legal word salad. Ibig sabihin po, wala po itong batayan sa katotohanan. Ito po ay legal na pagpapalusot para lusutan na naman pong muli ang pagpapanagot sa mga impeachable offenses laban sa atin pong pangalawang Pangulo. Yung pong paggamit ng mini trial ng ilan po sa mga kinatawan ng komite pong ito ay para lamang po sa pagpapaliwanag sa atin pong mga kababayan nung pong pagtakbo ng proseso po na impeachment. Particular, ito pong hearing proper at more particularly to make a distinction from the actual trial which will happen at the Senate. No? So, tingin ko yun lang po yung malinaw po na distinction dito po sa bagay po na ito. And Madam Chair, there is nothing in the rules and the proceedings that we have today which can in fact be considered as unconstitutional. I will read for the record the rules yet again and the constitutional provision. The constitutional provision in Article 9, Accountability of Public Officers, Section 3, 2. A verified complaint for impeachment may be filed by any member of the House of Representatives or by a citizen upon a resolution of endorsement by any member thereof, which shall be included in the order of business within 10 session days and referred to the proper committee within 3 session days thereafter. The committee, after hearing, this hearing, Madam Chair, and by a majority vote of all its members, shall submit its report to the House within 60 session days from such referral, together with the corresponding resolution. That is the constitutional provision, Madam Chair. The rules of impeachment of the 20th Congress, Section 7, submission of evidence and memoranda. If the committee finds that sufficient grounds for impeachment exist, the committee shall conduct a hearing. This hearing, Madam Chair. The committee, through the chairperson, may limit the period of examination and cross-examination by members of the committee. The committee shall have the power to issue compulsory processes for the attendance of witnesses and the production of documents and other related evidence. These are particular provisions which guide the hearing proper today. And therefore, Madam Chair, hearing is mentioned in both the Constitution and the rules. This is the hearing proper that is mentioned in the Constitution and the rules. And part of hearing, any hearing, is the receipt of evidence. Ang sinasabi po ng mga abogado ng pangalawang Pangulo, wala daw pong karapatan ang komite pong ito sa yugtong ito na tumanggap po ng mga ebidensya. Pero alam po natin na sa mga pagdinig, bahagi po ng mga pagdinig ang pagkuha po ng mga ebidensya. Make no mistake, Madam Chair, the committee will fulfill its constitutional mandate to conduct hearings in the context of impeachment. More importantly, make no mistake, we will receive evidence during these hearings. the subpoenas of all the witnesses and documents will be issued. The subpoenas on the audit reports and congressional records will be issued. The subpoenas on the SALNs, on the bank records, on the tax documents, on the businesses, corporate records of the Duterte Carpio couple and their business interests placed in the SALNs of 2024 will be issued. We will fulfill this mandate today, Madam Chair, until the very end of these proceedings. Yun lamang po. Maraming salamat.
Just for the record, the use of mini trial by some members of the Justice Committee is intended only to make a distinction between the proceeding before the Justice Committee and the trial which will happen in the Senate. Let us always be reminded that our parameter in our hearing proper is the determination of probable cause only, which means the justification to be able to proceed to trial. Again, we are not yet determining the guilt. We are not holding trial. This is just a clarificatory hearing for the purpose of determining probable cause, which will allow us to proceed to trial in the Senate.
Madam Chair.
That is for the record. The
Madam
Honorable
Chair.
Ko.
Madam Chair.
Madam Chair, a comment.
The Honorable Ko and then the Honorable D.S. Puno.
Madam Chair, also for the record, there is a statement released by the Office of the Vice President, no, echoing the parts of the letter issued by counsel, and again using the word quote-unquote mini trial. Madam Chair, on the record, I'd like to contest, no, and express my grievance on the use of the word mini trial. What is happening on the floor, Madam Chair, is determination of probable cause. It is a different, no, proceeding that if you also provide equivalents in how we do this in the judicial proceedings, clear naman po ang distinction ng ginagawa ng Office of the Prosecutor. And kapag nahanap na po yung probable cause na yon, magpo-proceed na po sa trial sa korte. For me, Madam Chair, it is irresponsible to muddy legal concepts so as to create a reason para po hindi mag-appear and even defeat the capabilities of this committee to talk about evidence, pleadings that is provided and may avenue naman na pinapadaloy under our House rules. So, Madam Chair, I'd just like to put on the record yung grievance on the use of the word mini trial. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. The Honorable D.S. Puno.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I refer back to the comment earlier by Congressman Diokno, which I think is very important, that we try to be sensitive to any actions that the committee takes that might open us to questioning on the higher judicial levels. We are in a hearing today. Hearings usually result in committee reports. Committee reports that will not have a judgment, that will not have any statement on the true veracity of any evidence that is presented here, because that is the work and job of the Senate, in my belief. No? So the final report that comes out is not a decision, it is not a judgment, it is a committee report that is forwarded to the Senate and recommending a trial. So I believe that the distinction between whether we are having a trial or not should begin there. And that is where we should rest it, not on the dictionary meaning of trial and so on and so forth. So the use of these terms, while sometimes unfortunate, does not result in nullifying the importance of these proceedings. So even the evidence that we review here, we will examine so that we do not send to the Senate meaningless evidence. It must be evidence that is germane to the complaints that have been filed, and it must be evidence that we have verified to be real facts and not just allegations, not just versions of the truth, but something that we all know is actually the truth, because why would we send it to the Senate if we do not believe that that is the case? So I believe that if we clarify this in the course of our proceedings, that we are not judging any testimony, but merely verifying it for purposes of accuracy, relevance to the complaint that has been filed, and so on, and come out with a committee report in that manner, I don't think that this committee can be accused of conducting a trial, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair.
The Honorable De Lima first, and then the Honorable Rodriguez. Rodriguez George.
Yes, Madam Chair, just a brief reaction to the manifestation of the Honorable Representative Puno. Just to be very clear, what will be transmitted to the Senate is not the committee report. What is to be transmitted to the Senate is the articles of impeachment already. The committee report from this committee will be transmitted to the NBank for consideration of the recommendation, for the consideration and approval of the recommendation of this committee, whether probable cause exists or not. So let's just be very clear about it. And Madam Chair, I noticed that the ground rules, the guidelines distributed to us does not yet reflect the amendment. So if we can have, please, the
The
copy
committee
reflecting-
secretary is directed to reflect or include the amendment that was approved already in the approved ground rules.
Thank you.
Are you finished with your manifestation, Honorable De Lima?
Madam Chair, another point. Can we have a confirmation from the committee secretariat that indeed respondent Sara Duterte and her counsels were duly notified of today's proceedings? Second, if so, is there any communication or anything, a pleading, a communication filed or submitted to the committee secretariat saying categorically that they are not appearing in today's hearing or in today's proceedings? And another question is there also any communication or any submission made from their camp explaining the absence of respondent Sara Duterte? Because aside from the letter put on record by the Honorable Terry Ridon about questioning the proceedings under the erroneous premise that what is being conducted here is trial on the merits, is there has been statements, pahayag, from Sara Duterte. I think this was circulated already to media. Let me just point out one important statement here. It's a pahayag from the Vice President of the Philippines, Sara Duterte, dated today, March 25. The second to the last paragraph says, "Naisumit ko na ang aking answer ad cautelam. Sa ngayon, wala nang dapat pang gawin ng komite, kundi ibasura ang mga reklamo dahil sa malinaw na kakulangan ng ebidensya." Is this an indication clear enough that she is waiving her right to participate in our proceedings? So I just wish to have that confirmation of the committee secretariat as to whether there's been any formal communication saying that they will not, whether she or by her counsel, will not participate in the proceedings before this committee henceforth.
The committee secretariat is directed to report to the committee the fact of having sent the notice of today's hearing to the respondent, and whether there is a communication or a document filed in relation to that invitation, as well as the same letter which was earlier manifested by the Honorable Ridon. And if there are any other documents received from the respondent, the committee secretariat is likewise directed to report to the committee. Let's begin with the notice sent to the respondent. COMSEC, please.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor.
The invitation for Vice President Sara Duterte to attend today's initial hearing was sent by electronic mail on March 19, 2026 at 10:25 a.m. It was acknowledged by, it was received March 19, 2026, 12:34, and acknowledged by the Central Records Unit of the Office of the Vice President. The invitation for two Nervasa and Salazar, counsel for Vice President Sara Duterte, to attend today's meeting was emailed on March 19, 2026, 10:21 a.m., received March 19, 2026, 1:45 p.m., acknowledged by Fortune Nervasa Salazar. As far as any communication from the Office of the Vice President manifesting that she will not attend today's initial hearing, the only communication we received with respect to that is the letter from her counsel, Fortune Nervasa and Salazar. That's all, Your Honor.
Any comment from the Honorable De Lima?
Thank you, Madam Chair. It's very unfortunate that the respondent herself is disrespecting the proceedings before this committee. At the very least, she should have manifested formally that she will not be appearing before this committee, and rather than just issuing statements before the media.